Hi everyone, it's Wednesday 16th of August. Normally I say it's my latest video blog in Australia, but I can't say that. Well, it is my latest video blog, but I'm not in Australia at the moment. I'm in Bali, Indonesia, just having a bit of a holiday. I'm on a different computer, so normally I have a screenshot with some stuff that we can all look at, and I don't really want it to be about my head. But on this occasion, special occasion, considering I'm in another country, that's what you get, and hopefully the sound works. And I apologise for not doing a video, but that's just what happens when you take off out of the country. It's all hustle and bustle, and then you know, time stops when you come to a place like this. You know, great food, great people, and we've been having a pretty good time. And I'm here with a bunch of people just working on some coaching elements, part of my other business that I do. And yeah, I'm just having a good time, having a bit of a break, and I'll be back in Australia at the end of the week, and back into the grind, as they say. So what I wanted to do is just share with you a bit of an update, and I've been meaning to do this last couple of days. I have been in Bali since last Friday, but I thought I'd just let this whole Bitcoin pump sort of settled down, because I didn't really have much to say about it, except that it was just an amazing ride. We saw Bitcoin go from 1,800 US dollars on the 1st of August at its lowest, up to around about 4.4, I think 4.5 even US dollars. And in the last day or so, we've just watched Bitcoin retrace, and it's just sort of hovering, going horizontal at the moment. And then we saw the altcoins just get absolutely smashed, really. And there were certain altcoins that I noticed in my portfolio that were getting really hammered. And it's funny, when I went to look at some of the other alts, they weren't getting hit as hard, and it shows that there's a few big boys who are invested in pretty much some similar coins that I'm in, and they really affected the price. They dropped them down over 50%. If not more. Obviously, when Bitcoin goes up, the sat level may drop, but the value, overall value of the crypto can hold, because it's measured in sats, and that's what people need to remember. Just because you buy something at 100 sats, now it's 50 sats. If Bitcoin doubles, you haven't necessarily lost a perceived value by 50%, because Bitcoin is obviously bringing up the overall value of that altcoin, because they're pegged together. But what we did see was, you know, a couple of these cryptos get just hammered, or the alts get hammered, and it was very refreshing to see last night that they bounced back, and some of them bounced back incredibly. There was some big money to be made if you were trading. I think DigiByte bounced back over 50%. Verge pretty much doubled 100%. Went from like 42 sats up to about 85 sats within 3 or 4 hours. And I think it's still doing okay. It's dropped down a little bit into the 70s or 60s, high 60s. And then there was even REDDCOIN, you know, the one that's just sort of sitting there at the bottom of Bitshares, not doing too much, has pretty much made the biggest return in such a short period of time. And it's bounced back. And it's quite relieving to see that the money didn't leave the sector. And I think anyone that's in alts, you know, we do get emotional about it a little bit when you have your money invested, and the swings are so aggressive. They're so fast as well. If you're not watching these on a daily basis, you would have missed this entire event over the last week. And what did we actually see? I think Bitcoin, we saw massive amount of money injected into the market, and it's currently at market cap of 67 billion. I can't show you the screen because I'm on a different computer, but I've got it open here. I can see market cap, and I think market cap's about 135 billion for the entire sector, which is an all-time high. It's probably dropped down a little bit considering what it was maybe 24 hours ago, 36 hours ago. So good signs there for the entire alt market and crypto market. And just remembering that we are at the early adoptive stage. I still think that we're in there. You know, there's only about 4 or 5 million users of crypto, and it is exponentially very quickly in the world. We're still probably 0.2% of the entire market cap of the financial system as a whole. I think Bitcoin passed PayPal for a moment there. PayPal's market cap is around 69 billion. At the moment, Bitcoin's at 67. So, you know, we're starting to make some records, in the sense that Bitcoin is very, very much so legitimizing itself. And, You know, we saw some other ICO coins, if you want to call them that. I think that just the new kids on the block as such. We've got Neo, there was Populous, there was 10x, there was a few others that have been surging sort of alongside with Bitcoin over the last 4 or 5 days. Now, I still get this feeling that it's all by design. There's no doubt, because of the market cap as a whole, when we get a grasp of the money that's involved, anyone with a lot of money, we're talking billions, whether it's institutional money or personal money, you know, someone like a Bill Gates or anyone that's got some cash, or a group, a buying group, or you know, a corporate interest of some sort, they can inject money and make major waves or influences into the market, because it's not big enough yet. That's why we're seeing these 20–30% increases up and down. We saw Bitcoin double. You know, it's over 44,000 US dollars. It's incredible. We saw Neo go from it was 6 Australian, I'm going to talk in Australian, but you sort of get the grasp. 6 Australian, then it went up to about 20 Australian, came back to 12, back to 6, and this is just before the Bitcoin rush. And I bought in around about 8 and 12, and then I bought just before I left another, just a little handful at about $18. I just got this feeling. I kept saying to myself, it's going to go, it's going to go. It's the next Chinese Ethereum. I've got to treat it as such. Did my research, saw that the website was updated, and went, okay. And this is pretty much at 2:30 a.m. in the morning before I left. And I downloaded the new wallets and things, because I think anyone that is in the Antshares needs to just understand that they have changed some of their web wallets and things, and I'm a bit concerned about that because I haven't moved my funds yet. So I need to go and do that as soon as I get back in the door, because there is quite a little bit of money there just from this last week, which is nice to see. It makes up for some of the negatives that we've seen in the alt market. But again, I feel these ICOs are being pumped. One, because I think that they have validity, and I think anyone that's got some investment now knows that it's not all about Bitcoin and you know, some of these currency-based alts. I think it's more about the overall blockchain technology as a whole and what they can offer overall, and that's what we're seeing, is these other parts of this whole infrastructure start coming together. You know, Populous, you know, 10x. We've seen even things like IOTA shoot up a little bit. I think it's sitting at number 5 on the market cap. Neo is the other one, and I think we're going to have to start trading smarter. Now, one thing I'm not going to be that guy who's going to tell you speculate prices and say buy this and buy that. I've removed myself from that. I've done a pretty good job. It's easy to get caught up in that, because all I can do is share with you what I'm invested in, and it'd be nice to see my investment portfolio increase, and I think it will. However, we've got to get smarter with what we're actually investing in, so never take anyone's advice except your own, and I think that's really, really important. You've got to go and do your research on this. And one thing I have noticed is that I was very heavy in alts, and I've come to realize that I need to just get some more Bitcoin as a base. It's not the entire, you're not going to become a millionaire on Bitcoin unless you got in early. However, in saying that, you never know what's going to happen in 10 or 15 years. I mean, that's a long time away. As a nest egg for your children or something like that, I think it's worth getting as much as you can. You know, they're 4,000 US dollars. I mean, how many can you do? But all you can do is stack it. My goal now is, I mean, I've got X amount of Bitcoin, but let's just, as for an example, without giving too much away, I'd like to have a minimum. I think as intelligent would be to say, well, if I had a minimum of 5, that's not a bad place to be. But ultimately, I want 50. It's quite a lot of money, but you know, I'm working towards that. As a base, and then you just sit there, and that's your nest egg, and let Bitcoin do what it needs to do. And it's the king. It's going to exponential, because everyone's going to come into Bitcoin first, and I think we need to remember that. So it's always going to be the flavor, and I think anyone that's conservative, doesn't know much about alts and understand blockchain, will pretty much invest in Bitcoin only, because that's just what they'll get. That's the advice that they'll be given, or that's the advice that they will give themselves, because they feel that that's as far as they want to go into crypto, and it's sort of like the gold of crypto. And I think that's just the way it is. That's its position at this current time. Doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever, but after the last week, I can't see it not holding strength for the entire time it's in this crypto market. There's going to be other things that come in to play. I mean, EOS has still got a year to go on its ICO. I think it's going to do great guns. There's a lot of stuff coming out with that, a lot of information. I'm pretty excited about it as a whole. And overall, there's not much we can do except keep researching and I think diversifying our portfolios. And that's all I really wanted to share with you. I think that's all I wanted to share. Just a bit of dribble while I'm here in Bali. I should have a bintang here, but I'm not doing that on video. But yeah, look, I'm just going through my blockfolio. It seems to have all settled down at the moment, but some of the other alts like DGB and XVG, they got hammered the most, and they've bounced back pretty aggressively. But they're not the only ones. There's been heaps. COin, BTS, Little Bit, REDDCOIN. What have I got? I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. PIVX has been pretty stable the entire time. LITECOIN's just been hanging out there, and it's funny. Some of the majors have just sort of held their own through this whole period of time. There's no doubt people were pulling money out of Monero and Dash and Litecoin and moving it into Bitcoin during this big rush, but they've held pretty strong, and they've come back in the last day or so to a nice level. So what's going to happen in the next 2 months? I think we're going to see more Bitcoin push. We're going to see these massive aggressive ups and downs out of the alts. So be very careful about not ruining your position. This entire week I felt like selling and moving into Bitcoin. I really did emotionally, but I decided, and I had some on the exchanges, and I thought, oh, go on, do it. And I could have improved my position, but I just sat back and I just said, look, just see this one out. It's not necessarily savvy trading advice, because you can make some money if you're brave enough to ride these waves. And you know, I have done it, and I will be doing more of it. However, I believe just building up your portfolio. We're still at the early adoptive stage. We've got 24 months of incredible growth ahead of us. Every day is a hectic day in crypto, and it moves so fast. So anyone that's watching this and is not quite involved, I suggest you go and get your crypto learning hat on and look into Bitcoin as the base. Get a whole heap of those, as much as you can. With some realistic approaches in regards to the reality of investments. Everything's a risk, so it's up to you what you do with your money. However, you know, you've got to take some plunges. What else are we going to do? How else do you get ahead? You've got to take a risk. You've got to go for it. So a bit of Bitcoin, and I think go and have a look at these other diversified altcoins. You know, and I'm looking at some of the smaller minnow ones that are coming through, and the ones that are going to provide greater depth in the future. So things like EOS, Neo. I like the idea of Populous and some of these other ones. There's what's the other one? There's Skins and there's Peer Plays. And there's a whole heap of things coming out, and they're releasing development news, which I think is really important. But at the end of the day, go and have a look at all of that. Do your research, get involved. That's all I've got. I'm going to go now and probably just chill out. I will have a little think now. I've got this video going. I'll have a little think about some added content. Let me know what you think of all of this Bitcoin. Do you think it's manufactured? Do you think it's organic? Do you think it's one group? Do you think it's the Rothschilds? Do you think it's banking cartels? What do you think it is? Hedge funds? China, or is it a particular sector of the world? Has anyone got some other information? It's all good to have a good conversation about this, so we stay in the loop and make sure that we're one day ahead of the game is all we can really be. Yeah, look, that's all I've got. Have a good day. I'm going to enjoy Bali. Just remember, you've got to do things for yourself. You can't work this 9 to 5 and think you're getting ahead in life. You've got to go and have some experiences. And I say travel the world. That's why I'm in crypto. I want to be able to make a difference. I've got a whole heap of grand plans. I'm not going to share them with you today, but it's all based around blockchain and the future of this amazing technology, and being able to share that with you and being able to make an influence is pretty much my life calling. So that's all I got. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.